The following segment is sponsored by Daniel A. White and Associates.
The Rick Jensen Show on 101.7 FM, 1150 AM, WDEL, and streaming to your smart speaker and mobile device.
All right, talking truth and fighting foo. And also when we talk with Dan White on Wednesdays, after the news at 1:30, trying to help you with retirement, because that's what they do at Dan White and Associates, retirement professionals specializing in that kind of financial planning. And I've got a lot of good advice from Dan, and I've taken most of it. I had to say it, Dan. You're live on the air. I had to say that out loud. Yeah, I have got a lot of great advice for you, and I have taken most of it, and I appreciate that. And I really enjoy these segments. We get a chance to talk at 1:30 because I always learn something. What do you have for us today?
Well, it's just the start of the new year. Here we go again, and while we're only 1 week in or 2 weeks in, there's some important IRA and work plan transactions to be aware of. And first, as you are well aware, is RMDs. If you turn 73 this year is your first required minimum distribution year. If you are still working, you may have an exception on your workplace plan. But if you're not, if you're retired and you're turning 73, you got to take a required minimum distribution.
Dan, you know what you just did?
What's that?
You just implied that I'm 73 years old.
No, I did not, Rick. I know you're not 73.
You said, as you're well aware, you have to take RMDs, and if you're 73 years old...
Well, you're well aware because you've been listening to me for a lot of years.
Well, that's true, too. and I just want to make it known that many people thought that I would not be living past the age of 28 or 30 because I was crazy. I've almost made it to 73. I'm good with that. I just want to know that.
There you go.
I'm good with that. I have not yet hit that mile marker, but I'm ready for it. All right, my friend.
Right.
Thank you.
Second thing is QCDs, Qualified Charitable Distributions. So you don't have to be 73 to take a QCD. You can do it as if you're going to be 70 and a half. But you want to do these, again, it really benefits people who maybe don't itemize anymore because the standard deduction is so high. You can transfer money from your IRA to a qualified charity, and you're not taxed on that distribution from the IRA. It's never too early to be thinking about Roth conversions. This should be considered by every IRA owner and retirement plan participant. I'm not saying it makes sense for everybody, but it should at least be a topic of discussion. And be aware, there's no such thing as a prior year conversion. It's too late to do any conversion for 2025. Any conversion done in 2026 will be taxable in 2026. That's unlike your IRA contributions. Roth conversions are probably done or are done for the prior year, but IRA contributions can still be made for 2025. The deadline to make a prior year 2025 traditional or Roth IRA contribution is April the 15th. Okay, so you have time to get those IRA contributions in. And we always get swamped around April as people do the last minute. They try to dump as much in. The contribution limits for 2025 are $7,000 plus $1,000 catch up if you're 50 or older. For 2026, they go to $7,500 and $1,100 as well. And then lastly, your 401k plan contributions, if you haven't looked at them, you may have been maxing out last year, but the limits have been raised again. This year it's $24,500, and then if you're over 50, an extra $8,000. So you could put up to $32,500 in your 401k plan this year. And then while this is not technically an IRA or work plan transaction, the new year is just a great reminder to review your beneficiary forms on all accounts. Life happens and things change. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen people that have, beneficiary forms and they have dead people on them. They just never changed them. So it's a great time of the year to review your beneficiary forms as well.
If you're over 65, I know they've got that senior $6,000 tax deduction, $12,000 if you're married. Yep. And I suppose there's probably some restrictions on that as well. But I'm also thinking, well, gosh, if that actually puts more money in your pocket, and quite often it does, well, then you can, if you file your taxes early, can you roll that as well? Like, let's say, okay, I got an extra $4,000 because I took my $6,000 deduction, and I want to put that into an IRA or something like that. But that's like coinciding, and you're not going to get the actual deduction until your taxes are approved. I guess. How?
The restriction there, Rick, though, is you have to have earned income. So if you're retired, then you don't have any earned income. Even though you got some extra money from the extra deduction, if you don't have any earned income, you can't contribute to either a traditional or a Roth IRA. Now, if you're working, that's a different story. You could take some of that money that you saved on the deduction, and you could deposit it if you have the earned income.
All right, and I guess, and I'm going to talk to my accountant about this because I also wonder if you're retired and you're getting income from Social Security. I mean, does that apply also to that $6,000 deduction? I hope it does.
It does, yeah. The deduction would, but Social Security, even though if you're collecting that does not count as earned income. So it wouldn't be something where you could make a contribution to an IRA just because you receive some Social Security benefits.
All righty. And by the way, that's whether you itemize or not, I think, on the $6,000.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's so confusing. I'm glad you do this stuff because I would hate it.
They don't make it easy, that's for sure.
I know. Well, no, I read about it. I try to understand it and everything, but I just wouldn't want to do this day to day. So thank God for you, Dan, and all your associates there at Dan White & Associates. By the way, folks, if you want to talk to Dan, doesn't cost you anything. Just look up danwhiteandassociates.com. It's a long address, but he was early onto the internet, and we should forgive. Nobody knew, you know. It's like it's like this is my homepage and this is where I'm going to have my website.com. You know, that was me, and we didn't know. You can give a call at 888-690-8820, 888-690-8820, and be sure to listen Sunday mornings at 7:00 on 101.7 FM, 11:50 a.m. streaming at WDEL.com. A little cup of coffee and whatever you want to eat there in the morning at 7:00. Dan brings you On the Money. What's on the show this Sunday?
Yeah, this Sunday, Rick, we're going to talk about how safe is your money. You know, we know the banks have FDIC, and then there's the SPIC for securities, and then you have the guarantee associations for the annuity products. But really, a lot of people just want to know, hey, is my money safe? You know, so we're going to talk about how all those institutions work and how safe your money is when you place it with these institutions.
Yeah, I wonder about that. They've raised the limits now on all these financial products when it comes to them being safe, and I think a lot of this happened during COVID as well. For example, at the banks, didn't the banks raise the limit that is going to be protected in case the bank goes under?
It's still $250, but it's $250 per account. So you could have an account, your wife could have an account, you could have a joint account, you could have an IRA account. They're all treated individually if they're titled differently.
And what about insurance products like annuities and cash value and in life insurance? Has that changed, or how much is that? It
depends on the state because insurance is divvied up by the states. It's not a national thing, so it depends on the states. But Pennsylvania and Delaware, you're covered up to $250,000 as well from the Guarantee Association. So that's what the show's all about this Sunday.
Good to know. Okay, 7 a.m. on Sunday. Dan White and Associates. Dan, thanks for the call.
Yeah, we have about 40 days till pitchers and catchers, buddy, so we're getting there.
That's what matters. All right, man, take care. 40 days.
Take care.
All right. He's counting the minutes, too.